Raise your hand if this thought has kept you up at night. What if I reach 80 and realize I never actually lived? So I'm Keisha. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. And if you just ever felt that in the pit of your stomach, you're definitely not alone. Okay. That early morning, late night panic, it's not random. It's not hormonal. It's your soul trying to get your attention. So you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You're lying there in the dark and suddenly you're transported into this vivid vision of yourself as an old woman, sitting in a rocking chair, looking back at your life with profound regret. And in that terrifying moment, you see all the dreams you never pursued, all the risks you never took, all the times you chose what felt safe over what felt authentic. And that panic, it hits because you realize you're not just afraid of death, you're terrified of dying and facing death with your gifts, your strengths, your purpose, still inside you and still unrealized. What haunts you most, right, is imagining your 80-year-old self, 90-year-old self living, looking back. And you say to yourself, I had so much more in me. Why didn't I trust myself? Why did I wait for permission that never came? Here's what I've learned after years of helping women navigate this exact fear. That late night, early morning awakening isn't your enemy. It's actually your internal GPS system recalculating. Think about it. For decades, you likely followed the prescribed path, right? You got the degree, you climbed the ladder, you built the life everyone said would make you happy. But now, in your 40s, your 50s, beyond, something inside you is saying, this isn't it. There's more. That restlessness you feel, that sense of something that wants to be born or come out of you, that sense that you're on the wrong path despite having a good life on paper, right? That's not midlife crisis. That's actually midlife awakening. Your soul is literally trying to break through all the layers of who you thought you should be to show you who you truly are. The anxiety, that depression, even that sense of time running out, right? These aren't signs that something's wrong with you. They're signs that something magnificent is trying to emerge, to wake up, and to be born. I want you to think about our friend, the butterfly, for a moment. And if you're in the part of the world where I live, it's entering spring. So we definitely, it's finishing up spring. It's actually the last part of spring. And we have our little butterflies flying about. And I want you to think about him for a second. So inside that chrysalis, right, the caterpillar doesn't just grow wings. It actually completely dissolves. It completely liquefies. And it's definitely a bit of a mind screw to kind of think like, what is that experience like, right? It liquefies and becomes something completely unrecognizable, basically soup, before rebuilding, re-solidifying into something entirely new that it was before. That's exactly what's happening to you right now. Is that disorienting feeling of not knowing who you are anymore? That's it, not breakdown. It often feels like a breakdown, but it's not the final form. That's the necessary dissolution before your most magnificent form can really emerge. Most women fight this process because it is unknown. It's unusual. It is something that not only has never been dealt with before, but it also completely moves in a different direction from what we've been taught from society, right? Women often try to hold on to the old identity. They try to hold on to the old path because liquefying feels terrifying. And again, it negates what we're taught as a society. But what if I told you that everything you're experiencing, right? The emptiness, the questioning, even that fear of wasted time, that dreaded feeling of wasted time. What if this is actually a sacred preparation? What if this was actually the first step that you need to take, that uncomfortable feeling? Your first act, right? The first part of the life was all about building and achieving and often about aligning yourself with norms. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. There's nothing wrong with hitting off all of the traditional boxes and moving on a traditional path. But the second act, Well, that's something different, right? And that's often about becoming and creating from the deepest part of who you are, which may or may not, and often does not, align with a traditional path forward as defined by society. I know what you're thinking. But Keisha, I'm already 45. I'm 50. I'm 55, for God's sake. I've wasted so much time already. You don't even know, girl. Well, here's the truth that will change everything. You haven't wasted anything. And that's an absolute frame reconstruction that must be accepted. You haven't wasted anything. Every experience, every mistake, every detour, every moment of feeling lost, it's all been preparing you for what comes next. And in fact, what comes next cannot be achieved without everything that has come before. The woman who's been through things such as corporate burnout understands what authentic work feels like. The woman who's raised children, right, knows how to nurture growth. The woman who has felt and experienced traditional roles and who has lived entirely for someone else knows what that's like, and therefore can help other people with that, and also knows what needs to be done in order to live differently. The woman who's navigated challenging relationships has developed profound intuition about human nature. You're not starting over, okay? That's not what you're doing. You're integrating everything you've already learned into something more powerful than you've ever been moving forward. And here's what no one tells you, right, about time. If you live with intention from this moment forward, the next 30 years of your life can contain more meaning, more joy, more authentic accomplishment than all the decades before combined. The fear of looking back with regret isn't meant to paralyze you. It's meant to activate you. Your 80, 90-year-old self isn't waiting to judge you. Like, she's waiting to celebrate you for having the courage to listen to that inner voice, for choosing authenticity over approval, for deciding that it's never too late to become who you were meant to be. That restlessness you feel, it's not a problem to solve. It's a tool. It's a doorway to walk through. It's an energy to use. And it is an information piece to take knowledge from. The second half of your life is waiting, and it's asking you one simple question. Are you ready to finally come home to yourself? If this resonates with you, if you felt seen in these words, I want you to know you're not broken, you're not too late, you're right on time for the most important transformation of your life. The life you're meant to live is still waiting for you. And your soul, it's been patient, but it's not going to wait forever. And it's true that eventually that soul will need to move on, right? But right now, it's time to trust the awakening, to trust the process, to trust yourself, to remember always that you've got this. You've got this. Your second act is just beginning. My name is Keisha Dent. I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I want to remind you always that in order to change your life, you must first change yourself. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye.